Hi guys, welcome back to the Be Strong podcast. It's been a hot minute since we've had one, and we've got a lot of stuff to catch you up on.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
But before we do that, Tom, how you doing, man?
I'm very good, mate. I think this has been a long time coming, getting things sorted out. Just for your viewing pleasure, we've arranged this on a Friday night after Costas has done 2 open mats today.
So yeah, I do look an absolute steak. Hey Anna. So obviously we're recording twice. If you hear me saying hi to random people, if you listen to this after the fact, it's folk jumping in on Insta. So welcome aboard. Yeah, and I literally just had very tough open mat, so I look like I've been hit by a bus.
You look about 75 kilos.
Yeah, I feel like I've literally lost all of my body weight up there. It was pretty tough. First things first, Tom, how does it feel to be on the other side of the school holidays?
Oh, mate. I dropped my Fridays at work, and I've not felt the full effect until today. So I taught my class this morning at 6:30, dropped Lily off at school. I'm like, Erin, my youngest daughter's around, but it's easy when there's one of them. It's when there's 2 of them. The carnage, it's when there's 2 of them. They're always fighting. So yeah, it's I feel free. I feel like I've got my time back. I love my kids, but also there's a time you need to be away from your kids, as you know.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So like I had today, I had a bit of a gap in the day, so I was back home, and my boy was pushing my buttons to the point where, you know, when you're like, I sat there and I was like, oh god, this boy, like, I'm looking forward to him starting jiu-jitsu so much, just so I can try.
We had an incident about 2 or 3 days ago. Long story short, about 4 weeks ago, the kids flooded the bathroom and it went through when it's just wiped out the whole flooring in the hallway. And so we'd moved some things around, and I'm about to get in my car, and I'm like, "Where's the car keys?"
God, so, don't start me with that.
Yeah, it happened. So Erin had taken our car key and like buried it in her toy box. So it took us about 25 minutes. But it's like when there's added stress because we were going to do a private session.
Yeah.
But no, we had some of that. So I've lived that terror now.
Oh, it's the worst. And their hiding places are quite creative. They're just, and the villains, they're just villains. So yeah, if you're watching this, take it as an advert to like think about your choices if you're going to have kids. If you're planning children,
think long and hard. As someone who's always wanted to be a parent, there are times where I'm like, yeah, I think I made the wrong decision. Also, I love them.
yeah. It's a weird like dichotomy to love your kids, but also be like, fuck, life will be so much easier.
Indy says we've got cool kids. We do have cool kids, to be fair, but they're also little shits. So
definitely that.
Cool shits.
So I put out a little while ago, right?
Let's do it.
Questions, just to start off on a humorous note before we go into all the cool updates that we got to tell you guys. So I sent out, what is your guilty pleasure? Now I put up an anonymous box because if you didn't want to own up to it, you could really like let loose without feeling, I suppose, exposed. And we had some good ones coming. Some pretty standard ones, but some good ones.
Before we address this, I didn't see the outcome of your GOAT question.
You know what? So it turned out, with the GOAT question, there was a really big surge at the beginning for people that would fuck the GOAT.
See, I said I wouldn't, and I'd rather let people know.
Yeah,
than let them think that I had.
That it turned in that favour by the end.
Right. Okay.
So, but at first it was pretty level. There was a lot of GOAT fuckers.
Who would bang the GOAT?
There was, I think it was like 60%. Some surprises in there.
Name names.
In fact, it was as you know when you know. I mean, it was people I know from my old work and whatnot, some villains. But it was none of the jiu-jitsu people. They were all non-GOAT fuckers, surprisingly.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So everyone says jiu-jitsu is about that life. It's clearly not.
Yeah, exactly.
And also we don't care what people think.
Exactly. We're trailblazers and we don't fuck goats. So it's like win-win. So guilty pleasures. Some of these were pretty, obviously, people taking the piss. So the very first one that landed in my thing was pegging my fella. Which is, it's pretty aggressive.
You like what you like.
That one did come in anonymously, so we have no idea if it's...
So it might actually be legit.
It could be legit.
Yeah.
It could be legit. It could be a guy out there getting pegged that we know by one of the girls that we obviously know. Heel hooking the white belts, I imagine that came from Chris.
Yeah.
Just know that if that is your guilty pleasure, you are... Yeah, there's like only 1 or 2 people out doing K that enjoy heel hooking the white belts and their villains.
Oh, question before I interrupt. When, as now I'm technically a jiu-jitsu coach, it's really hard to not do things on white belts, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm so kind. And someone said to me at the end of the class the other day, like, oh, you went a bit hard with that technique. I'm like, nah.
I'm
not even close.
Yeah, he's like, you don't know what I've been holding back.
But there've been little things where I see like a foot and I'm like,
yeah, just like, it's right there. It's just right there. Guilty pleasure. This one was quite specific. Eating a Nature Valley bar over the sink so I can lick my fingers and eat all of the crumbs. Which gave me the image of someone actually picking the crumbs out of the sink.
yeah, that's what I got from that. It just, I mean, that's what a bowl's for, surely.
Yeah, I would say like over the sink is like...
Like, I eat food over the sink if I'm rushing out of the house with the kids because the debris just falls into one place.
Yeah. But it feels like kind of like you're rooted, you know. If you've got a bowl, the bowl can move with you and it's quite like convenient. Over the sink is like... There's something about that just feels...
It's this, I've got an image of like... And then it just doesn't seem right.
Like, you imagine them in their pants doing it as well. Like,
Don't look at me!
Yeah. It's like, someone walked in, they do the Gollum thing. It's just, yeah, not a good look. Weigh in on this one.
Go on.
Salad cream on scrambled eggs.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, you know what? When I read that, I was like...
Who wrote that? Was that anonymous?
That was not anonymous.
Who was that?
That was Katie.
Katie, you in there? Give us a wave if you are.
You're still in there, Katie. That is gross.
That is disgusting. If you're present or you're not, salad cream on scrambled eggs. Mate, I want to get talking about
You know, I would rather go upstairs to the sweaty mats and like lick that than have salad cream on scrambled eggs.
That is like, it's genuinely making me want to get. Like, can you imagine picking it up and
imagine the texture. It's like something you've already eaten.
It's like recycled. Oh no, I'm not having it. So, salad cream. Gillian puts it on lasagna.
Oh,
yeah, that's apparently a thing for like. I'm more tolerant of that.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll eat on scrambled eggs is a bit of siracha.
Yeah.
That's good.
I can get on board.
And I'm actually implementing siracha into my breakfast, so bacon and egg sandwich with a bit of siracha. Trust me, go that road.
I need to try that. But definitely not salad cream.
That's the most disgusting. That's worse than pegging.
Yeah,
that's worse than pegging.
I would rather be pegged. I'd rather be pegged than have that. The brownie M&Ms. I agree. If you haven't tried the brownie M&Ms, those things. Like,
there's the crunch and the doughiness. Yeah.
Something about those, right? And bear in mind, like, I'm dropping a little bit of weight at the minute, but I'm still managing to like power those things down. And I don't buy like the little bags. I don't think they sell like an individual bag. They sell like the sharing bag.
You should though.
The one thing about the sharing bags, you don't share them. You just open them and...
We all know a sharing bag's not for sharing.
Yeah. What kind of pussy shares his sharing bag? Can
you imagine? All right, kids, I've got a sharing bag for you all.
No, it's for me. Sharing bag from one. This one was a good one as well. Farting silently in a packed lift and watching the horror.
I like that.
That's so antisocial, but also hilarious. Like,
it's when you have to just give enough pressure, where it's like a gas leak pressure. Yeah.
It's one of those, like, you know, if you know you've gotten away with it as well, and you can see people just reacting, like a few seconds, like the delay, and then everyone's just like, oh god, then obviously you can join in, but internally you can enjoy the fact that you've caused this horror.
Yeah, I like that. No, I'm okay. Cat amongst the pigeons there.
Yeah, there's like, were you just on about scrambled eggs and salad? We were, Kate.
Oh, Katie, you're disgusting.
No, it made us feel ill, Kate.
There is someone who put that their guilty pleasure is pegging their partner. I would rather get pegged than eat scrambled eggs.
I said I'd rather go upstairs to the sweaty mats and lick them right now than have salad cream on my scrambled eggs. It makes me feel like, ooh.
It's the most disgusting thing I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, it was pretty.
And I'm disgusted that I know you.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like after all these years of you being like my workout partner and stuff, I feel like this could be the mountain that we can't get over. You
That's
know, it's
vile.
Like,
vile.
Yeah, give me the shivers. So the last one. Taking an aggressive shit when someone is in the stall next to me.
What constitutes an aggressive shit? No, that's what I want to know.
You know what I've got in my mind? That scene in Austin Powers. You know when he's in the toilet and he's getting grotted and his feet are shaking. Like if that was actually him taking the shit, that's what I've got in my mind.
My view of an aggressive shit is when it's like half poo, half diarrhea. So it comes through it. No, we're not going to try it.
No way. No
there's
chance.
nothing on God's green earth you can make me do that.
Ooh.
Back to the aggressive shits.
Yeah,
It's like
I'd rather eat the aggressive shit.
Yeah, I'd rather do that. You hear a pop, and then it's like a doing that in a stall next to someone must be truly terrifying.
You can imagine if you've gone into the stall and you're having like
torpedoes,
and you've got someone that's like relax. Like, you sat down, you're relaxed, and you're like, I can start my day like just here next to you, just someone like, it's got to be the most unsettling thing in the world. So whoever sent that in, like, you're a hero. But
if you were doing a poo and you heard it, you'd chop off early, I think. And
just leave. You'd be like, I'm out. Hard pass. I'm gone. So that was all those. I'm going to put up another one for our next podcast for you guys to chime in on, just because it was a hilarious way to start the podcast. But on to exciting things that have been happening over the last few weeks. Tom, IMA, talk to us.
We started a jiu-jitsu club.
Yeah, we did.
Like 4 minutes from my house, which is amazing. And it's gone really well. So the first month we've got enough members where it's kind of paying itself. We can develop some things, and we're definitely going to be developing some things for that. What's really, really cool though is we've got a team full of brand new people who we've found from marketing on Facebook and everything else, and they're getting really good really quick.
Yeah.
Like when I started jiu-jitsu, my coach was a bit odd, and he'd just teach you a technique and then wouldn't go through some things. But I was rolling with one of our guys the other day, and when she like passed my guard, perfect side control, I rolled to my side, gift wrap, took my back off it, and I'm like, that's mint. I wasn't even doing that till like early blue belt.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that stuff. I was just trying to like rag on a submission.
I love that. Like seeing like the development of people. So funnily enough, so something that me and Tom were actually talking about introducing to IMA at some point. We've launched a beginners for BJJ course here, and so I taught them all a variety of attacks. Yeah. So from mount. I said, right, here's how you control the mount. If their arms are down, here's how you do like an Ezekiel choke. They'll defend it, so you can get their arms up. And I was going through, basically the pathway was how we ended up taking the back from there. But on the way to taking the back, I showed them, before you try and take the back, you can try a head and arm choke, you can try an arm bar, or if you're mean, you can try a smother. So I taught them how to mother's milk, and that's the one that stuck, and they're all trying to smother each other now.
That's amazing.
It's hilarious. It's the most funny thing, like watching all my new white belts, just like trying to smother each other. It's like, it makes me proud, but also I feel guilt in that I'm bringing like a wave of smotherers through.
It's really weird though, because now I'm rolling with a club full of new people, like I mentioned. I'm checking my ethics.
Yeah,
like, what can I do here? Like, where they don't feel like I'm actually trying to hurt them.
Yeah.
And all I'm doing is just practicing berimbolos now. That's what white belts are for now.
I went through a phase of, so after the Dan Strauss seminar, I was doing the Strauss armbar on everyone because it's amazing. And since then, I've gone on I've set myself a goal in certain open mats to say, I'm only going to tap people by heel hooks or, leg lock entanglements of some kind, or smothers, and that's it. Can't finish it with anything else. And I've been.
So you're deliberately ignoring 50% of the body.
Yeah, I'm doing the opposite of what Danaher said. Yeah. And funnily enough, that phrase that actually reminds me of something I was going to say in terms of like the value I'm getting at HQ IMA.
Yeah.
In terms of open mats and things like that. Because obviously I mentioned before that I don't think that Josh and Liam see themselves particularly as like coach figures to me, because I'm not directly in their classes or anything like that, but I learn a lot off of them. So like, I see them as coach figures, whether or not they really
teach you a class.
Yeah. And whether or not they see themselves as a coaching role for me, I kind of see them as that role for me. And every time I roll with Liam, he'll say some comment that in his mind will be like something small, but it's like that light bulb moment for Danaher. Like, why would you ignore 50% of the human body? And I'm like, fuck, why would I ignore that? Like Liam will always say something, and I'm like, yeah, fuck, why do I do that? Why don't I do this? That type of thing.
It was interesting feedback, because one of our members said, like we've had a lot of conversations about curriculum and how we want to teach things, and one of our members who trained somewhere else for a few months, I said at one in the classes, like, we've done a month basically of classes and we've not really taught you a lot of submissions, but we're trying to teach you concepts. And this guy who's come before and knows some submission and was subbing a lot of people. It's the same thing. He's like, well, I've just know how to control them. I can pick what I want. And it's like with Josh and Liam, Liam said a few things to me. I'm like, oh yeah, why am I doing that?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
One of my moments was bottom position, like a leg entry from there, and then he's like, well, why are you trying leg entry? Just wrestle up and smash from top. I'm like, oh yeah. And then I just had a round where, well, that day I just decided to wrestle up on everyone. Yeah, and you're like, oh yeah, I get this now.
Yeah,
This makes sense.
There's so much we had it was like he had not warmed up, so we did like he's like, oh, do you want like a flow one?
Yeah.
So it was like a lot of change of position, like, neither of us trying to like smash each other, and at the end of it he's just like, oh, it's really nice. He said that double outside Ashy's got to go though, and I was like, it does have to go. Like, I don't have much success from there.
Mate, same with me though. Double outside Ashy. Do they basically almost like do like a smash?
Yeah.
Shoot your hips down. Yeah.
It's like, shit. And obviously now, like, if I go to that position on Jimmy, for example, I get boloed.
Yeah.
To be fair, if I go to any leg entanglement on Jimmy, I tend to get boloed. Yeah. But especially that one. If both feet are outside, he's on my back, like, literally instantly. So it's like, it's one of those, when Liam just said that, I was like, yeah, I should stop going to that, because I have a lot more success in pretty much every other leg entanglement.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's literally like something that you can just see.
But I think that's like a big part of, where we are as a club at the moment is just the start.
Yeah.
There's loads of good things. Like, it's a real honour that people want to pay us money to teach them jiu-jitsu, and I think that's really cool. And there's big things coming, like we were talking about some things a little bit earlier. But it's about providing a framework to teach people where they can enjoy jiu-jitsu and have fun and explore, rather than just a bit old school. Right, do this, they do this, you do that, they do this. Like, we were looking at like knee cutting today, and also what happens when you don't have the underhook, what happens when you do have the underhook, and options on both sides of that. And we're doing some positional sparring. You could see them trying stuff with the concepts rather than just doing moves.
Yeah.
And so I think that's I'm absolutely loving it.
It is awesome, like, and it's one of those, like, some of my newbies, Claire, who just jumped in, for example, they're going to come to their first open mat, so they get to test everything, but against more experienced people. And I think that's where you learn a lot. Like, obviously, me learning a lot from Liam and Josh. You always learn a lot from more experienced people.
And I think I get more now from open mats.
Yeah.
Than I probably do from classes. I think it's important to go into classes, but actually a lot of my learning now is quite self-directed. So I'll just read stuff that fits my game and then try stuff in. Like, one thing I've been working on at the moment is, like when someone double under tries to smash pass and there's the no arm triangle.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do that from mount. So when I get into mount and I shoot an S mount, they'll go double unders to pass. I'll throw it over and then basically dig in, and as I roll to my back, I'll just do like a no arm triangle. And it's those things where you look at something now and you go, oh yeah,
something there.
Yeah, and you can do that on open mat, particularly if there's like a wide range of people, even at all levels.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, it's awesome. I think it's a good way to learn.
So yeah, you're looking forward to getting you in for the first one, Claire. So obviously Liam beat you guys to it. So Liam was the first of the new group to come into an open mat today, and he got through it all as well, which was good. And it was a hard open mat. There's some good bodies in for him today. So yeah, looking forward to getting you girls in on Sunday. I think a lot of our girls are back from various weekends away as well. So it'll be a good one to come to on that front. So for those of you that had joined halfway through that, IMA Murfield started that up. I teach them myself on a Saturday morning at 8 a.m. So if you're an early bird and you want to get to a class, it's good fun. Always good bodies down there. And it's one of those things, when you get an early class in, it makes you feel like I've got everything done. Yeah, and I can now go and enjoy the rest of my day, without having to worry. And for me, personally, like, I teach that class, go off, I go to every week, I go to Frankie and Benny's now. That's like my little routine. Get some food, have a little chill, coffee, before I have to face the burden of being a dad again when my boy's being a little shit. It's all the joys when he's not, but a lot of it is him being a little shit. I can't lie. Sorry, what you say? I'm shit. Everyone starts shit, Claire, so don't worry.
There's a problem, Claire, is as you go further and further down the line, you're like, I'm still shit.
Yeah, I still get days where I'm like, fuck, I'm shit. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like today wasn't a fantastic day rolling for me in terms of, like, some days you're the hammer, some days you're the nail. I was more the nail than the hammer today. You get those days regardless how long you've been doing it, because it's like there's always a bigger shark out there. It's like you could think like, oh, I'm the big fish, and there's a bigger fish, and then there's a bigger fish, and there's a shark. There's unless you're like Gordon Ryan or Theon, there's always going to be someone else out there that can fuck you up.
It's a big mindset thing, though, isn't it? Like I laughed a bit today because when I first started jiu-jitsu, I remember saying to my wife, I was like, "Do you know what? I'd really like to get down just once a week so I can get a little bit better." And as the years have gone now, I've eventually started my own club and I'm trying to train like 6-7 sessions a week.
Yeah.
And all I'm thinking about is how I can get more sessions and time in. But I think if you take the mindset, and it's that cheesy thing that people talk about, like discipline and motivation, just turn up.
Yeah.
And even if you get smashed, you'll be better for it.
100%. That was one of the things that I had spoken to Ad about. So I'd spoken to Tom previously, like, Ad, it was coming up to promotion season here, and I was torn between like giving Ad stripes and giving Ad a belt because he'd been doing it for a long time, and he'd I'm so busy. Wait till down, Clay, we won't be shit together. The issue with Ad is that he wasn't getting to open mats and he just wasn't rolling enough.
Yeah.
Why has that gone dark? Oh, there we go, we're back. So ultimately, he was feeling like he was getting tired in the roles, he wasn't being efficient because he was stressed in the roles, basically, because he wasn't doing enough. And then when you're stressed, you're less efficient, you get tired, you become less effective, you end up getting smashed. And he found that he was falling into that. And I said to him, look, you'll do some of the rounds at the end of a class, but someone that comes to one open mat, one time, will do your whole month's worth of rolling in one session. And they come to 2 open mats a week, sort of thing, so that their mat time is just infinitely more than yours, so they're going to progress quicker. And since I said that, he's been down to the open mats, he's been doing the rounds, and he's been like catching people, and I was like, you know what, that's like a huge shift in mindset to basically put yourself in there and be like, you know what, yeah, I need to just put myself in, I need to do it.
But I still have that mindset sometimes, where I'm like, oh, I'll go to an open mat. We on Sunday night,
yeah,
so tired, because the kids had run me down, and then I get to an open mat, and Alex Thompson messaged me, he's like, oh, do you want to do some like half guard drilling tonight? I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
Because I don't actually want to go hard. And then I rocked up and there's like 22 killers in the room.
Yeah, that was a brutal
day. But actually, I just switched my mindset. Like, you know what? Just get involved. Let's go. And really, really cool learning experience. And I think you just got to turn up, haven't you?
100%.
Just turn up.
100%. One of the things I want to go through today is obviously because we're both involved in the fitness space, trying to put out something that would be useful for people that are interested. Sometimes it'd be myth busting, sometimes it would be general advice. And seeing as I am now a hardened ice bath user, having done it twice, figured we'd actually talk a little bit about cold immersion and the benefits, the perceived benefits, the potentially exaggerated benefits of it, and give our take on it. Because if you were to go onto Instagram, for example, you would just see someone that will give you kind of like a spiel like this, like, oh, I ice bath every day and it's cured my cancer and I'm now a billionaire, and then like they'll attribute everything good to their life being the fact that they jump in like some cold water for like 2 or 3 minutes a day every day at the arse crack of dawn in their garden. The truth, Tom, what do you reckon? Ice baths. So let's just go over some of the purported benefits.
Yeah, let's do that, because like the question is, what's the perceived mechanism?
So let's go over perceived mechanism number 1.
Yeah.
It helps my recovery.
Okay.
So my understanding on this is that in terms of immediate pain management, yes. So like if you're a multi-sport athlete that has to compete multiple times in a day, and you're doing it, and you've done a session that's taken a toll on your body, but you have to do another session in say 2 hours time or an hour's time, then yeah, jumping in an ice bath may help manage the immediate pain that you're in to help you perform in the short term. But in terms of long-term recovery, Tom, what do you reckon?
Right, I'm going to go full. So my bias here is I used to ice bath, I maybe ice bath when I was in season competing in skeleton every day. Sometimes multiple times a day. Also bias, I hate them. That's my bias. Right, so in terms of recovery, the evidence is quite mixed on it. So if we take something like the difference between performance maintenance and adaptation, because those are the 2 things you want to think about. Let's just take what you mentioned as an example of disrupting a process to such a degree so you can maintain performance without increasing the inflammatory markers. Arguably, we don't know yet, but there was a paper done, several papers done. One of the papers, when they looked at doing that in season, they saw favourable outcomes with athletes. The context of why I would use it with some of my athletes is what you don't want to do is blunt adaptation. So if you lift weights in the gym, you're going to cause that breakdown, which will then lead to a cascade of hormones, everything else, etc. Your body stimulates those processes, which then causes the muscles to rebuild. You want inflammation in order to elicit that process. And we find as we get older, that inflammation sticks around a little bit longer, which takes us longer to recover. So with the athletes that I would work with, and the perceived benefit I would say is, if you're doing back-to-back bouts, there is some evidence to support that. But it does blunt the adaptation process. So there was a paper done a few years ago, and they found that when you ice bath following an event, it reduces your muscle protein synthesis by about 10 to 20%. So you might blunt your adaptation, but you could arguably make the point, whereas if you blunt the adaptation a bit, but then you're compounding multiple sessions, are you going to get more potent stimulus from back-to-backing those sessions without causing the risk of injury? You can kind of mix it up. So in short, I think as a performance maintainer, to reduce some of the adaptive effects, if you have an elite athlete who's doing multiple events day to day, like Wimbledon, etc., I would say it's probably a good thing to do, because they're not going to develop a long-term adaptation in a week of competing, are they? So I'd say, to maintain performance in season,
In terms of
nerdy there for you, get some of that.
In terms of something that I think it's been shown to be fairly harmful for, use directly after hypertrophy or strength training, it's been shown to inhibit both of those responses.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, like, if you were doing a strength training session, or you're trying to do a bodybuilding session, and you immediately hop in an ice bath, the stimulus, like the adaptation you're going to get from what you've just done, is going to be, like I said, something blunted and reduced, and it is shown to be harmful. They had I can't remember what study it was, but they had like a control group that done like some active recovery, and then an ice bath group, and in both the strength gains and the hypertrophy gains, it was night and day. Like it was very
massively,
clear. One of the areas that's quite interesting is that I've seen a lot on is basically using it to treat depression. Now, obviously, in terms of effectiveness of this, a lot of this is self-reporting symptoms. So right off the bat, you have to be, I suppose...
Alex Thompson, hello.
Yo.
We're talking about ice baths?
Yeah, we are giving our thoughts on ice baths, seeing as I am a now Wim Hof the second. They're saying that the release of dopamine after hitting those was supposed to have a massive uplift a massive lessening in the feelings of anxiety and depression. But obviously, it's hard to gauge that, because a feeling isn't measurable. It's hard to quantify. It's like
I'm very, 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 very cautious when we talk about things like neurotransmitters. It's like dopamine, serotonin, etc. Because what you've got to look at. Do you remember that graph years ago when you did science at school? It talked about like a woman's menstrual cycle, and you have the mix of 4 or 5 different hormones, like progesterone, estrogen, and everything else. You've got to think of it as a relative scale, because I could do something that would increase my dopamine 40 times, right? But is it sustained? Is it going to have is that relatively high compared to the other things that I can do can increase my dopamine? So people like 2.5x your dopamine, but you'll get that if you do a really hard shit, potentially.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how long does it sustain for? I think with the depression and anxiety thing, there'll definitely be components of planning, overcoming, achieving, which I think helps with some of those things. But I find the psychosomatic side of things quite interesting with it, because how do you isolate the variables?
Yeah.
Like, if it makes people feel better and there's evidence to support it, go for it. But I want to know the mechanism, and I want to know why.
Yeah. It's one of those things when it's something that is self-reported in terms of feelings, stuff like that. Then it's like, well, how do you know? How do you know what it's doing? It's hard to quantify that in any kind of like measurable way, to have a clear answer on the effect of it, I suppose.
And then to throw another spanner in the works to challenge my own bias, there was a paper done several years ago on jumping athletes, and they ice bathed through sort of adaptive seasons, and they saw an increase in vertical jump height and counter movement jumps when they repeatedly ice bathed after sessions. So it's like anything in research. I can say, well,
but this shows this,
yeah. You've got to draw on the lines, and I think ice bathing. Let's take something like jiu-jitsu. If you feel like you're being battered, it's great to get in an ice bath, and it takes some of those painful feelings away. And if it means you can get to your next session a little bit easier, great, do it.
Yeah.
It's when then people are like, well, actually, it will make your penis 3 times bigger, and it will give you all the benefits of hormones. You'll be a better husband and father, and what else? The police won't ever catch you for your crimes.
Yeah.
But I think where I'm really frustrated with general social media is they throw these big articles. It's only valid if there's someone with headphones on in front of like a podcast.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, that's sound. I've got to believe that because the production value is high.
Yeah. So this guy is clearly the one. He knows what he's talking about. Speaking of, like, I don't know if you've seen Grapple Strong posted a thing of like it was. Is that cartoon? It's like, "Gotta see if you're gay." And they're showing 2 images, and one of them was like traditional like strength training, and one of them was like Joel Seedman, like his stuff. Yeah. And they're like, "No, 1 or 2?" And then the person was like, "I was choosing like Joel's ones," and like, "Oh yeah, definitely gay, definitely gay." Yeah.
Joel Seedman's a character. Did you see the debate with him recently? And he was on Mark Strong's podcast.
I did not.
Yeah, I mean, he's just an idiot. When you think when someone's going to come to debate and then they become really passive and agreeable, I'm like, right, no, you don't have a strong position here. Joel Seedman, what a character.
I would love to see him and Nordi Aguilar like have a...
That'd be an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
Did you see Nordi and Brett Contreras? I thought that was a good conversation, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty nuanced. I thought Brett was going to like shred him up, but Brett was quite like...
What's he saying?
That's why
he does ice baths, for
the giant dick.
Yeah. The jerk.
I'm not gonna lie, right? It's not my experience with it after coming out. Like when I came out of it, I do think my balls were entirely inside my body, and it was like I don't think I was putting my best self forward on the immediate like removal of the ice bath. I thought when I got out, I was like, if I had to helicopter now, it would not be impressive.
So I'll tell you a story. Back when I used to cycle back from work, I'd maybe cycle like 125 miles a week because it was my only option for commuting.
Yeah.
It sucked, especially in December. But I remember one day it was absolutely torrential, and I got into the house and my wife was like, "I think you've got hypothermia." So she ran me a bath, like a hot bath, and then I remember taking my clothes off, and I'm like, "Flipping heck, that is the smallest I've ever seen. Like, there's no lateral movement there." But I was so cold when I got in the hot bath. I was like, "Gillian, have you turned the hon?" Like I couldn't feel a thing. But yeah, there's not a chance for windmilling. There's just everything is. You've gone to like a Ken bump.
Legit. It was not a good look when I got out of there. Like, and the worst thing is like when you're in the ice bath, you can kind of feel it happening. Like you feel everything just like. So it's like you're struggling to breathe. It's very uncomfortable. Your feet.
That's the fucking worst thing about an ice bath.
Jesus. This time I kept my hands out of it because the mistake I made the first time, I put my hands into it. So when I came to get out, my hands were numb and I couldn't like grab anything. So I kept my hands out of it this time. But my feet, oh god, the feet, it is fucking brutal.
The thing about an ice bath when we used to compete in one of the tracks we went to, it's called Koenigsee in like Austria, the border of Austria. You'd break a hole in the river after your session and obviously just jump in and stay in there. But it wasn't your feet that got cold, it was your nuts that got cold. So my recipe for that is before I got in the ice bath, I'd basically strip down to my pants and stay out in the cold weather for like 5 minutes to really cool down, and the transition wasn't as bad. But just women don't know our pain as men. They just don't know our pain.
It is not cool. No boy know that. I was debating like doing a live Would You Rather on here, but I don't know, like once it's recorded and up there, people will be like, "Oh, I can't participate," so I might save it for the stories after. I am going to put another Would You Rather. It is going to be another like gross or horrible one.
I don't know if I can tell you some of the scenario. No, fuck it, let's go. I used to play a game called Moral Grey Area, and Moral Grey Area is Yeah, let's try it. So, scenario for you, mate. You have been going out with a girl for quite some time. You're not really happy with the relationship. You're thinking about breaking up with her in the next week, okay? You drive in the car, you don't pay attention to your phone, you crash the car. Let's say it's Hayley, you've fallen out of love with Hayley a bit, you crash the car, and then she's paralysed because of your driving, okay? Yeah. This can get worse. And then you know that you're responsible and she loves you so much and is really grateful for the support. Do you stay with her or do you break up with her? And what happens there? How do you do it, if you do it?
I think, like, the level of guilt I'd feel, I would just go really hard into jiu-jitsu and porn. And, and that would just become my life. Like, guilt, jiu-jitsu and porn would
just
become my existence.
That.
Yeah. I think those three things.
So you'd stay then?
I think I would stay. No, if I wasn't responsible for the crash, then I'd be like, yeah, okay. But if I caused the crash myself, I would have to say, well, this is what I get for being a piece of shit.
So second thing then, similar scenario. I don't know why they all end in car accidents.
I was going to say, it's pretty dark.
Yeah, it's going to get worse. You get called to an event, Hayley's been in a car accident, one of your friends rings you up, sees it, and she's in the car with the person she's been cheating on you with, and you've only got time to save one person. Who do you save?
You know what? I'd save her because fuck that other person. That person could fucking die anyway.
Yeah. But they might not have known. What if they didn't know? What if you didn't know you existed, mate?
Well, you're still going to die, motherfucker. Yeah. But I think I would need the closure. Like,
yeah, because you wouldn't get... Yeah, I get that.
I'd need the closure from it. So, in short, fuck that other person. Even if they didn't know, still fuck that person.
And they're not a problem anymore, I guess.
Yeah. There's like one less twat in the world, I suppose. So this reminded me of... I did ask one or two people this question, but I might even put it up in the group, and it is, I suppose, it's more applicable to guys. But one of my friends said this while we were playing Fortnite it's a while ago now, and it was one of those things that, you know, it etches itself so darkly into your mind.
Save yourself. Just walk away from both of them.
Yeah, just go. So any of the guys on this, and girls, you can answer this one as well. You just have to be creative with how you interpret this. So if you wake up,
okay, I'm listening, man.
You open your eyes one morning, you've woken up, and you are 1 inch into your mum, and your dad is 1 inch into you.
Okay.
Do you move forward or backwards?
Oh god, flipping heck. What do you do? Do you know what my response would be? Genuinely, if I woke up, I think I'd just go backwards to get out of there.
What we came.
Because if I went forwards, but then I'm pushing back. But I'm not really pushing back it's about intention, I think. So I think I'd just have to. What about if I rotate?
No, you're on a train track. You got no lateral movement. It's only.
I think I'd have to just move back and get out of there.
It's one of those the two answers that stuck with me most when this question had come about was, the first one was, I think I could live with myself for banging my mum, but not by getting banged by my dad. Was that fair? And the other one that stuck with me was well, I came out of my mum. I might as well go back in.
Oh mate, that's a pretty horrific scenario.
Yeah, it's pretty grim. It was quite upsetting. So you joined at the right time, Claire, just to miss that, because it was deeply unsettling.
Unsettling is the word.
Yeah. It's
I quite like these moral quandaries. What was he saying? Sprawl out of there.
That could work, to be fair. Or you might.
No, I think because the hips would go forwards and out, and then good shout, big sprawl.
That could work.
Who said that?
I think I'm drunk enough to deal with this right now. Yeah, see, there's some darkness for you guys today. Yeah. Going through, I suppose, a less dark one, so that people won't be as freaked out. Would you rather have head the size of a beach ball or a tennis ball?
Oh, I'd head the size of a beach ball, mate.
Can you imagine that? It would be hard to get out of. You know what? Now think of it.
Can you imagine how good?
And things like that.
Can you imagine how good you would be at posting in jiu-jitsu?
That's true. No one would sweep you. Just
doof, get your beach ball head on the floor.
But you'd be quite hard to choke. You get a little head. You just slide out. Yeah, it's like, good luck. Poop, I'm out again.
I love how both of us were like, how does this affect my performance in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, legitimately. Like, I'm not worried about how it affects my performance in anything else. Just jiu-jitsu.
Can you imagine how weird it would be though, walking down the street and seeing a man with a tennis ball sized head? But then a big boo.
That'd be so. It would be really unsettling. It reminded me of the freaking guy from Men in Black. When he takes the shot, he comes out with a tiny head. Beach ball. Yeah, I think a beach ball would be good for balance.
And posting, mate.
And if you're talking like in scrimmage and wrestling and stuff, and using your head to post on people, you can move them with a beach ball head pretty well.
Oh, yeah, mate, you'd have so much control with the beach ball head.
Yeah. Or if you get someone catch it, to be fair, you'd be hard to guillotine.
Yeah, there's a lot of space you've got to get around the beach ball.
Yeah, I think beach ball head might be a winner. That could be a good shout.
And I feel like tennis ball head, like, it's not a dominant head to possess. You'd want a beach ball head, like people know.
Yeah.
You walk in the room, beach balls here.
Yeah, it all comes down to size in the end. You feel a bit underwhelming with like a little tiny like tennis.
But can you imagine how small your eyes would look?
You imagine you had a tennis ball head but with regular size eyes. Regular size features.
It reminds me of that orange, the annoying orange.
Yeah. Oh god, I remember that fucking thing. That kind of went around at the same time as that was it that motorbike, that Crazy Frog, that fucking dude. I think they all went around at the same time, to be fair. Oh, sweet, that's great. Yeah, so Craig come down today. Fucking hell, he's good, man. It's rolling with him is hard.
Where's he from?
Mataleo.
Oh, cool.
Do breed him tough down there. So yeah, if you're in the Bradford area, you get yourself in there, some good rounds.
How heavy would your head be? Ooh, good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
What we're saying?
If you scale it up, so a regular head size multiplied to beach ball size, it would be quite heavy. You'd have to have a strong neck.
Mate, so if your regular head's like between 7 and 10 kilos, and we scale it up, so I don't know, 3 times that, a 30 kg head, you could wrecking ball people if they get anywhere, just like a giraffe, whip your head and...
Yeah. If you miss it though, you break your neck. Like if you don't make contact.
But it's just like watching your toddlers, isn't it?
Yeah,
they've got massive noggins, and they're just boom.
Yeah.
But they always use it for really good counterbalancing when they're climbing.
Yeah, that's true, to be fair.
Interesting. These are really important questions I've never asked myself.
Yeah, I think like we wanted to really bring the content to you that would matter, So after tackling ice baths and our thoughts on them
beach ball head.
Yeah, beach ball head, getting either like banged by your dad or banging your mum, just like all the important things in life that you have to go through. There was another one that I saw.
Don't give me another one. Would I rather?
Yeah. Fuck, what was it? When you get like a brain melt?
Yeah.
It was a dark one. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I like the dark ones.
Fuck.
What's he saying? 3 bowling balls. Yeah, basically, pretty much.
Yeah, that would be pretty rough.
Can you imagine though, like, just guard passing, like a half guard pass, and just driving your head into them with a beach ball?
You could actually you could probably choke them by just pressure.
Put head on the diaphragm.
Yeah. It'd be like having a knee on belly without your knee being on their belly.
Beach on belly.
Yeah, just bam.
Belly beach.
Had that today, trying to sweep people upstairs, and they're trying to bounce on their head. It got sweaty enough up there today that they were just like sliding along.
I can imagine, yeah.
I went to sweep someone, and they actually just slid laterally along the floor. Like, they didn't actually turn all there. Just like, brrr. It sounded like a bathtub, when you just go. Couldn't believe it. I was like,
so funny.
Yeah, it was tough today. Very, very hot up there.
I'm waiting for this. Would you rather?
Yeah, I can't believe I've forgotten this one.
Right, dicks for fingers or dicks for toes? Oh, I think I'd go dicks for toes.
Yeah, I think because...
But the problem is when you walked, it might be quite an enjoyable experience for you, because there's constant contact all the time. Or
painful. If each of those dicks has a set of balls, stepping on them all day would be really painful. Like, you got to take that into account.
Then your hands would look like Christmas balls.
Yeah, that's true. You would jazz hands. Oh, that would be scary.
Mate, let me tell you a story. When I was in a long time ago, when I was in the cult, I was in this house in Birmingham, and this woman had like a proper creepy dog, and I didn't know what it was about the dog, but it was like a dachshund, but it like walked in, they were a bit frail.
Yeah.
And I went to pick up the dachshund, mate, and on its belly, it had like a growth that was the shape of a hand, but it was just soggy skin.
Oh.
And I put my hand on it, this growth just like rested it up. I was like, ugh.
Oh.
So that had like serious sort of floaty dick vibes. Do you know what I mean?
I'd still probably rather like play with that than eat the salad cream eggs though.
Alex, are you still on? Just give us a wave. Give us a quick wave. Right, I'm just going to pose this as a question because I think we're still on. Katie Gosling puts salad cream on scrambled eggs. We would like your opinion as we continue through the podcast. I think it's the most disgusting thing I've heard.
Yeah, and anyone else in this, you can also chime in on that. But it literally did make me feel like a bit sick when I read it. I was just like, ooh.
Oh yeah, it makes me feel a bit.
Yeah. Like,
yeah. Let's not do that. Would you rather have? What was the one? Yeah, straw. No, it wasn't. Grass for hair, or what was the other one? No, I've got to remember this one. No, I think it was no hair or grass for hair, but you've already gone for the no hair.
I was going to say, like, for me, anything will be a step up.
And I might be going there soon, actually, having a look at my hairline the other day.
This is one of the things that we're deciding at IMA, that you have to be bald to coach there. Seeing as like me and Sam, salad cream on hard-boiled eggs.
Oh,
yes, scrambled,
no!
Need to try. No.
Sorry,
egg and salad cream. What? No.
What is wrong with you people?
I mean, mayo is better, but salad cream. No, it doesn't work.
This is not a thing.
Ugh.
This can't be a thing.
Like, are we the ones out of touch here? Like,
Yeah, Alec, I'd rather eat dog shit.
Yeah,
but like, genuinely, I think I would rather eat dog shit.
Yeah, like, agree with mashed eggs.
Mate, it genuinely makes me feel sick.
Like genuinely.
That's not a fake response. Like, if I have to think about the process of putting that in my mouth, it makes me want to vomit.
Yeah, like, I don't know which I find more disagreeable. Like,
yeah, and like, anyone has to do a Sani about it, apparently. So there's a market for it. Someone has sat down and done a focus group and be like,
this will be a good
salad
idea.
cream on eggs, that'll sell.
Jesus. Like, it is literally, like, it's what they feed people at Auschwitz or something like that.
It's so wrong.
It actually makes me feel like...
I'm very uncomfortable with it. More uncomfortable than the questions we went through.
Yeah, I'd rather... Ooh,
go on then, let's go.
So this question, right? And this one's pretty bad. So, someone comes up to you.
Yeah.
They have a suitcase with £10 million in it.
Right, okay.
That £10 million is yours if you just don't press this button. Now, if you press this button, what's going to happen? Somewhere in the world that you don't know, there's a train full of kids that's about to fall off a cliff. If you press the button, it will stop the train, but you don't get the money.
Okay.
If you just don't press the button, somewhere that you don't know, some kids that you never meet in the world will die and you will get £10 million.
So, my thoughts on this is... I don't think in the sense of urgency that they've told me to, like, there's a train, you've got to press the button really quick. They've not had enough time to provide me with hard evidence. So at that point I'd be like, thanks, the 10 million, I don't believe you.
Yeah, it's like, this is...
And as long as I didn't look into it, I think I'd be okay.
It's one of those, it's like... What about tuna ketchup? What, tuna and ketchup in... Oh, tuna and ketchup by itself...
But pancake's quite a versatile dish.
Yeah, I tend to go sweet, but that's because I'm like a...
I'll do a bit of bacon and maple syrup, maybe.
I've never done that.
You'd surprise yourself there.
Anyone watching this, right? So Five Guys have a thing where you can put bacon in your milkshake. I haven't tried it. Has anyone tried it, and is it worth trying? That's something I need to know, because I would go and buy a milkshake with bacon in it, but if I feel disappointed if it's shit, and I don't want to waste the milkshake because I really like the milkshakes there. Give me 10 million.
Yeah, because there's no way. I'm sorry. Like, if someone said there's a train, I wouldn't believe them. I'm like, because you can stop. You press the button. If it's that important to you, you press the button.
The takeaway from it was like, well, do I have to kill the kids myself? Like, it's like, no, you don't have to kill them yourself. But you just got to not press the button.
Yeah, like, if you want to play moral games with me, you want to give me 10 million. Actually, it's your problem for presenting the situation with the train and the kids. So it's your problem to press the button. Yeah. Thanks to the 10 million.
Makes you the arsehole. I take my 10 million and be on my way.
Yeah.
I'm still upset about the salad cream.
Oh, mate, no, I'm gonna. The first thing I'll do when I get home is I'll say that to my wife, and I bet she doesn't do it.
Out of sight, out of mind. Ria's just like,
yeah, take the money.
10 million is a lot of money. Like,
that is so much money. Your life has changed forever.
Yeah, that's what, see, like even 1 million is like a life-changing amount of money. Like 10.
People don't realise how much 10 million is.
Yeah,
that is a lot of money.
Like,
you just buy a house outright, cool, you set. What really else do you need?
Like, I don't think I could count 10 million.
No.
Like,
No, they've done something on that, like how long it actually takes you to count them. It's obscene.
Well, the mad thing was, I saw this thing. It was something like counting. If you were to count to 1 million and count to 1 billion, just to show how.
Have you seen them as grains of salt as well?
No, I haven't seen that.
So they did like 1 million of grains of salt and 1 billion of grains of salt. It just blows your mind.
I've seen the. So what they said was, if you count to 1 million, it would take X amount of hours. Quite like the trolley problem.
Trolley problem.
Don't know the trolley problem.
You might have to write that down for us, mate.
But let's assume, for argument's sake, that counting to 1 million would take like X amount of hours.
Yeah.
Counting to 1 billion, if you counted one per second, would take something like 36 years.
Yeah.
Like it's obscene. It's like makes you realise like if you're a billionaire, how and why? Why do you need that much?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I want part of that money.
Yeah. It's like I don't need all of the billions. Just like,
give me like a mil. Just drop us a mil.
Yeah.
I won't complain.
Yeah, I could be frugal and survive on 1 billion, I reckon.
It'd be tough, but we could do it.
Yeah, like I live a relatively simple life filled with jiu-jitsu,
computer games,
and get baked. And that's basically like life.
But, because I was thinking about this the other day. I actually don't need I don't need stuff. Like, I've got a car that works fine. I've got a house that's fine. Everything is great. Like, I like it the way it is, and I can do the hobbies that I enjoy. But you do see it where people make so much money. I'm not going to be that person who says, money doesn't bring you happiness. Right. Your life is demonstrably more difficult if you don't have money. Like, that's just a silly problem. But then, when all of those things are covered, fine. But, like, that much money, what else do you need?
I will go a step further, and I would say, people that say, like, oh, money doesn't make you happy, and blah, 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 you don't need money. They're always people that are not short of money.
Yeah.
It's people
and they're also quite miserable.
Yeah. But it's like, they don't have to, like, well, I suppose humans as a whole, we tend to do well when we're chasing things or when we're working. When we get to where we want to go, it's usually not as enjoyable as the process of getting to where we want to go.
Agreed.
So like chasing money, for argument's sake, might be more enjoyable making money than having all the money. But having no money sucks.
Like, think about the worst times in your life, and then normally when you were struggling with resources to some degree.
Yeah.
Like, definitely for me. Yeah. So I'm like, I used to go to work with this girl who she's just like so laid back about everything, but she goes, I don't like to spend money on things. I like to spend money on experiences. I completely agree. But then all she does is just buy useless shit. And I'm like, I think people just say stuff and don't think about like what comes out of the mouth. But the money, here we go.
There's a train heading towards 5 people on the track. You could just let this happen and one guy dies, or you could change the direction of the track and kill the one dude that is stood on the other line. Okay, so 5 people will die, or one person will die.
Right, it's a train heading towards 5 people on the track. You could let this happen, and the unguide dies, or you can change direction track and kill the one dude. Oh well.
I like if it was one guy on one side of the track and 5 people on this side. It's going towards the 5. I would just play the numbers game and basically flip it. Like, I know that they say that you could take the neutral stance and say, well, I shouldn't interfere with nature and let things play out as they would. But I would argue that the train being not in nature, I would interfere. So, like, if I saw a snake eating a cute animal, for example, I probably wouldn't save the cute animal, even though it was cute, because it's nature. If there's 5 people on the track and the train was going to get them, I'd be like, I think, and I could let the 5 people die or have the one person die. I would probably say, sorry, one person, but the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. So I will save 5 people and let you die, rather than let those 5 people die and you survive. That would be my stance, I believe.
Yeah, I'm going to add this scenario because maybe there's another thing to it. Let's say, because I don't know if I misread it, one guy driving the train, go to 5 people, or you can change the direction of the track and the person operating the track dies instead.
Oh, okay. Okay, see what you mean, yeah. So the person...
I think it's still a numbers game for me.
Yeah, so that person I would see that person as a hero. If they knew they were going to die...
Die hero.
Yeah, they die a hero. And I would if you're going to die a hero is a good way to go.
Yeah, it's a good way. I mean, no one lives forever, you might as well die a hero.
I think that appeals to pretty much everyone, especially meathead guys. We want to die like heroes.
Yeah,
so,
probably. Do you know what I watched the other day? We rewatched Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And I was really sad. And I watched, is it Theoden's Charge?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's sick. That's how I want to die, when they're all running going, Death! I'm like, yeah, that's how I want to go.
Well, I said, I was speaking to Adnan about this, funny enough, because it turns out we watch the same films all the time. How are we doing, Em? So, before every competition that I have, without fail, I'll watch 300.
Yeah.
And I'll watch Troy. Just
Troy
because it's just filled with epic death scenes, and it just makes me feel like, I can die a heroic death tomorrow and it'll be alright. We push a fat guy off the platform and he dies and all are saved. This is true.
Then.
Yeah.
We watched Troy recently again.
I think that's got one of the best fight scenes ever.
And also, I love that Achilles is just all about himself.
Yeah.
He wants the glory. He wants the fame. He's such a narcissist. He knows this.
Yeah,
but it's just about that.
Just glory and the speech he gives to Hector.
Yeah.
It's probably the most intimidating speech in any film ever.
Yeah,
it's that's just boss level intimidation. But he actually plays it really well. So when Hector's dad comes to claim the body, and he speaks to him, and Achilles goes out and breaks down crying. It's like there's some human in there, amongst the complete narcissistic pursuit of glory. There is some humanity within him.
But isn't it, from a moral perspective, we don't always have to live by the same rules, and he's just totally living by his code.
Yeah.
He doesn't care what the people think.
I'm
like, this is really interesting, because some people are like that.
Yeah.
I'm not like that, but I'm a little bit envious sometimes that people are just like, no, I'm just going to take what's mine.
Yeah. Just I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
Those people will be the ones that didn't fuck the goat. We're like, I don't care what people think, I'm going to do what I want. I'm not going to fuck this goat.
Oh, they'd probably fuck the goat and tell everyone about it.
Yeah. I'll do what I want. Yeah, that was. I actually had people messaging me, people that had voted for fucking the goat and no one knowing. They're like, oh,
we know.
We know. I know. They're like, oh, there's got to be more people that would fuck the goat. Surely, come on. There's not really any winners in that scenario. In fairness, but that was another one. So I did say this to someone else. Would you rather bang your partner's mind and soul just transported into your mother's, or in girls' opinion, your father's body?
Oh no, this is awful.
Or bang your mother's mind and soul and spirit just transported into your partner's body?
That is so hard.
It's bad, isn't it?
I don't know what to do.
It's disgraceful.
What would you do?
I don't know what I would do.
I don't know. There's no victory there.
No, there's not.
No one wins.
I don't think there's any winning on that. So you see me leaning forward, so I'm just pressing the wave button.
I don't know. It's like I like my wife's body.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that's
you'd have to
swinging me there.
Yeah.
It's bad. That is a bad question.
It's fucking disgraceful, isn't it?
It's awful.
That's the kind of question that means that
oh, it's so bad in so many ways.
It's why I'm going to hell. It's
there's no victory there.
No, there's not, is there?
It's disgusting, and you would leave forever scarred.
Yeah, you'd be like, I've done something I cannot go back from. Whichever you chose.
Do you ever have dreams where you do something morally reprehensible, and you're living with it in your dream, and I can't go on like this anymore? I've had a few fairly recently actually, where I've cheated on my wife.
Yeah.
And I'm right, I'm a terrible person, I'm going to have to live with this. and I wake up and I'm like, oh my god, thank God this isn't real.
Yeah. I've had ones where I've done something like really mundane, but I felt really bad about it, or like because the dreams are exaggerated. So I had one when the dog was like barking, and I like went like that, and then he got really injured, But I didn't do it, and then he hated it, and the dog wouldn't come near me, and I felt like really fucking bad. But never anything like that.
I used to get them all the time when I was Mormon.
Yeah.
So like I'd sleep with girl and like, right, I'm going to hell now. That's what was happening in my dream, and I'm like, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I get ones that I'm still finishing uni. I'm suddenly in the last year of uni, and I've mistimed all my assignments, and all my deadlines are wrong, and I should have collected it, and it's just fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And then I wake up and I'm like, there's no deadlines. I'm not a student anymore. Yeah, it's weird. Recurring dreams.
I once streamed up the bed dreaming about rolling. I've like aggressively sworn a bunch of times in my sleep, like I'm fighting someone or something.
Have I not told you about my sleep talking? Have you not?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, really? It was quite bad when I was a teenager, to the point where I actually got in my car and started my car engine, and my mum woke me up.
That's pretty good.
And it was always when I was stressed, but there was one point where I stood at the top of my stairs, literally in my pants, shouting down to my parents, "I'm a conscientious objector!" My wife has it if I've been like stressed out sometimes, I'll slap myself in my sleep. It's like bang, bang, and I'll wake up like with a handprint on my face. But yeah, back when I was a missionary for the church, I spoke a little bit of like conversational Mandarin, and one of my friends fell asleep in the same room as me, and I was talking in Chinese in my sleep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, not that I was like super fluent, but yeah, it's weird.
Can you imagine that if you were super fluent in Chinese in your dreams only though?
Well, the funniest one is at the time, like 2010-ish. This was after I'd like come back from my mission. I had that app, it records the ambient noise, and then it will record your sleep talking. And the favourite one I heard I just heard me go, "It's working." Don't know what it was, but
yeah, it's pretty dark.
Yeah, it gets quite dark.
I'd love to do that, to be fair, and record. But I always think if I was to record my sleep, I'd see something like, what was that film where every night like the woman's walking and standing at the end of the bed and like
The Grudge?
No, it was like a camcorder film.
Paranormal Activity? Yeah.
I think I'd see some shit like that. Like,
well, it was just a sound recorder. So right.
That's true, yeah.
And the demons might talk into it occasionally.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that might not have been you talking, that might have been someone walking
It's
well, you know. I don't know if there's anything else on there that... So yeah, I should be making my notes.
It's taking a funny turn tonight.
I was going to say, like, we covered a bit of everything on that. And like I said, we will wrap it up because it is getting quite late.
So if we ever run into politics, this episode will be used to defame us to some degree.
Oh yeah, this will be the one. Like, it'll be like, oh, remember that time you talked about banging your parents
or disabling your partner,
or letting all the kids die to pocket 10 mil. It's like this.
Probably fit in. It'd do well if we joined certain parties.
Yeah. I think like we would fit in on the right pretty well with that. To be fair, clearly not the most people focused, but cash focused.
We get the job done.
Yeah. Like fuck all of the Cuban cost. Talk about the dollar cost.
That's what I mean. The bottom line.
Yeah. That's yeah. It's dark, but it's true. So for those of you that have watched this, thanks for jumping on. Obviously, the Instagram crowd, this isn't going to stay on the feed. It is going to go up onto YouTube. So if you missed parts of it, you can watch the whole thing on there. I'm going to upload it to Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well, so you can find it on there. Like and subscribe. Helps us get more viewers, and ultimately will help us get people involved that will give us free shit or pay us money to endorse their stuff, which we will do.
We will do.
Yeah, so if you send us some cool free stuff, we will endorse it. And then might even try it if it is good stuff. So yeah, send it in, especially if it's food related.
Yeah, interested in that.
Yeah, like if you run any kind of food or coffee based thing and you want a shout out.
I mean, we've done a free shout out for Get Baked, so if they want to just pay us retrospectively for this, we can do that.
You could send me a Bruno or something like that.
Yeah,
that would be the one. Yeah. I do feel like I feel like that would throw a spanner in the works of me bringing my weight down a little bit.
You don't need to get big.
I feel like I have like a little bit just from the 2 training sessions today. But yeah, IMA Murfield. I have a class tomorrow, so every Saturday. Obviously, there are other classes on. What are the other classes on there for people that are
So
interested?
there's an 8 o'clock morning session on the Sunday. There's a Sunday night open mat, which is 8 till 9 p.m. We have a Wednesday no-gi class for beginners, which is 6:30 till 8. That's quite good because of sort of half an hour of sparring and good stuff at the end of that. A late Thursday night gi class, which we'll talk about at another point, but that's 8:30 till 9:30. And then a Friday morning session, beginners no-gi, which is on the Friday morning, which is today, 6:30 till 7:30 a.m. More classes to come soon.
Yeah, and so if you're watching this and you need somewhere to roll tomorrow morning, my class 8 a.m. I'll see you there, and then I will go and get me a nice tasty Frankie and Benny's. So yeah, find Be Strong Podcast on Apple or on Spotify. If you obviously you're watching this on my channel, so you know where to find me. But if you want to know more about Tom, where can they find you on Instagram?
Tom_Walker_physio.
Boom. And last thing that I popped in there, I'm totally bringing you M&S egg salad and cream.
No, don't do that. We won't endorse that.
Please don't do that.
We won't be endorsing that.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a caveat. We will endorse anything. So like, even if you're selling like the most reprehensible stuff, obviously we've shown ourselves to be like of very low moral integrity today. So we will sell our soul for some free shit. But if that free shit is M&S egg and salad cream sandwiches,
so
it would not be the one. Like, I'm not even like, when Alex said that he would rather eat dog shit, like, it seems like a strong thing, but I would go further to say I would rather like literally suck the shit out of the dog's ass myself than wait for him to drop it.
If you put 2 plates of food in front of me and gave me the salad cream, and I can't even say it, on top of the scrambled eggs or dog shit, and a glass of water, and I just like shove it in my mouth and swallow it, I think I'd swallow the dog shit.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I genuinely do, because I think I would vomit the salad cream back.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like in terms of texture and taste, they would be fairly similar anyway. Like,
I can't hide my face, like I'm genuinely disgusted when we're talking about this.
Yeah, it's yeah. You know when you think you know someone, and then when Kate
disappoint you.
When Kate sent that in, I was just like, oh god, can't believe this.
But there's a market for it.
That's
and so I think maybe, like when you set up a new client or you get someone to your gym and you do a par Q,
yeah.
If they fill in a form, I'm going to ask them about that, and then they're just banned.
Yeah, I think what we found today is a very clear gender divide, and that all the guys are like, no, hell
That's
no,
true.
And the girls have been very much in favour of it. So this could be, you know when they say like the difference between men and women, this could be it. This could be the one.
Salad cream on eggs.
Yeah, I think in
It also has tomato. Mate, what are they just run out of stuff and thrown it all in and be like, yeah, that's a sandwich.
Yeah, just like you can imagine the chef's disgust. He's like, I'll just fucking throw some tomato in there. Here, just take your shitty, disgusting sandwich and get out of my sight. And it's like, yeah, it's so upsetting.
That's ruined my evening. Thank you.
I do feel like I'm ending on a low now, but if it's still open, if Sainsbury's is still open, they have speaking of sharing packs, right? So it's a sharing pack of salted caramel nuts like macadamias and things like that. It's a sharing bag that I eat entirely myself, obviously because I'm a monster with no self-control, and it's so good. So you're talking like 500 odd calories of nuts, but it's worth it.
When I saw Alex Thompson, because I saw him at Five Guys yesterday. I'm like, I could smash a Five Guys.
Oh yeah,
I think I need to go get some good food or something. Yeah, I do feel hungry after all that rolling, in fairness. Yeah, might have to do that.
But thanks for jumping on, guys. We're going to end the live podcast now, and obviously I'm going to stop over there. We'll upload these soon. I'm going to put a story, probably a would you rather or something like that, up in my question box. So if you want to, or if you have any suggestions of ones that you want us to put out to the world, obviously you can send those across to me, and we'll tackle those on the next one, because obviously that's a pretty funny way to start a podcast, even if it revealed some deeply disturbing and upsetting things. Thanks for watching, guys. Five Guys is the one.
Okay.
Right, take it easy, guys. Catch you
See
all
you
in the next
later.
one.